Kulena equation we have path as 3. We have path 1, so we have this one. This is our first path. This is the first path 1 because isuka apha yehle. This is the second path, horizontal. Then this is the last path. This is the third path. So incline this one. 1 no 3 ngu-incline. So equations xa zibuzwa zizoqala apha kwi-first path, zize kwi-second path, zize kwi-third path. But thina ke masikhumbule uba besithe when ubala whatever ku-incline, let's try to use work done by non-conservative force. Work done by non-conservative force, la formula sense yona ek plus change in ep. So sense le formula thina. Then steps zethu, we said you first draw the free body diagram, which means we will draw a free body diagram for the ndawo noba i-force diagram ke nalapha sobe i-force diagram, nalapha sobe ntoni i-force diagram. Masifunde statement first. Bathi ke ngoku apha a 5 kg block is released from rest. So the 5 kg block is released from rest, which means we know that the velocity here apha ekuqaleni ngu-0 velocity here from rest, from a height of 5 meters. As you can see, the height is 5 meters, and slide down a frictionless incline to P, which means here there is no friction here, smooth as shown in the diagram. It is then move along a frictionless, again horizontal path. So the portion number 2 upper is frictionless, and finally up and in a second rough incline, which means here there is a friction. So we will draw a free body diagram kuzo zonke ezi path. Xa ilapha iblock sizobe i-force diagram, in fact naxa inyuka apha i-box layer sizobe i-force diagram. Let's start here. Xa sizoba lapha sine normal force, that is F. The normal force that is always perpendicular to the surface. Then we have weight, that is Fg. Then azikho ezinye forces because there is no friction, zinezo-2. Then size kule path, nale path kuthiwa frictionless. So we have a normal force which always act perpendicular. Then we have Fg, that is which is going down. Then ayikho enye force because this is smooth. Then size kulena ipath, we have the normal force which is perpendicular to the surface. Then we have Fg, which is going down straight. Then there is a friction. Since inyuka, friction is opposing the motion, sibe friction, that is Fk. So nazi free body force diagram zethu zi-3. Equation sijonga force diagram. Now let's start with equation yokuqala, izoba ku-first path. The frictional force and the non-conservative force between the surface and the block is 18. So the frictional force here is 18. The first question says, use the energy principles only. Calculate the speed of the block at P. Naku P. Sisuka lapha phezulu at top siya ku P. Sikuleni path, sikuleni free body diagram. So step number 1, you draw the free body diagram. Sesizenzile. Then step sesibini ke ngokucancelisha i-forces that do no work in each free body diagram. In normal force is always perpendicular, so kuzo zonke sizoyikhatha, ayikho, so it does no work, zero work. Then Fg kulena siyamshiya wenza umsebenzi, uyitsalele ezantsi le object. But kulena i-object u-Fg siyamkhatha because perpendicular to the surface. Sino normal force onyukayo sibe no FG owehlayo. So FG ufomisha bani u-90 degrees no normal force ufomisha u-90 degrees, therefore they do a zero work. Then apha ke ngosishiyeke nabani no friction no FG, kulena sishiyeka nabani no FG kuphela i-force. Then i-question yethu ke ngoku yokuqala ithi use energy principles only, calculate the speed of the block at P. So since kungu-incline sizosebenzisa le formula, therefore sishiyeke nabani ke ngoku apha kulo incline, lona u-incline sishiyeke nabani no FG qha. So xa sishiyeke no FG kuphela ithethe ukuthi sine-work done by FG, but ke ngoku FG uyintoni? U-FG is a conservative force. U-FG is a what? Is a conservative force. Do we have any non-conservative force here? No, therefore we put 0 here. Then change is EK final minus, that is EKF minus EKI, that is initial, plus change in P EP final minus EP initial. Then let's substitute. We have 0 kweli, which is equal to, okay, formula yalapha ngu-1/2 mv squared final minus 1/2 mv I squared plus eyalapha ngubani ngu-mgh, since sithe final sithi final minus mgh initial. So i-formula yethu now let's substitute. We have 0 kweli cala, 0 is equal to 1/2 i-mass ithini 5 kgs. I-final velocity yale path kusuka apho uzotsho apha yi-velocity at P, that is final velocity. So sithi velocity at P, i-velocity at P kula path, minus 1/2 times i-mass sithe ngu-5. I-initial velocity yale path usuka apho uzotsho nantsi abesendiyibhalile ndathi ngubani ngu-0 ngenxa yobani from rest, urest initial velocity ngu-0 okanye i-velocity ngu-0 xa kuthiwa rest, irestile ngu-0, which means lena indawo singayisusa le, since ingu-0 I can just put u-0 here, sifake u-0 pha. Since i-velocity ngu-0, therefore the kinetic energy is 0, plus i-height final sisuka apha, this is initial path position, this is the final position. I-height le here ngu-0, therefore yonke le ndawo ngu-0 nxa i-height ngu-0 ibe ngu-0 la, minus i-mass ngubani u-5, u-g is constant ngu-9,8 times i-height yalapha ngubani u-5 ka-initial. Then sicofe i-calculate, 0 is equal to 2,5 Vp squared. 0 no 0 bakuphele ngabo, then minus, sicofe i-calculator again, so ibe ngu-2, sibe no-245 here, so sino-245. Then you want to solve u-v, therefore let's transpose this one ize nga, then xa si-transpose uzotshintsha i-sign, so soba no plus 245, which is equal to 5 lo 2,5 Vp squared. Then we divide by 2,5 both sides, 2,5 both sides, then the Vp squared, velocity at P squared, is equal to, let's divide by 2,5, each way 98, sibe no 98. Then sifake square root both sides, square root both sides, then the speed or the velocity at p is equal to, then sicofe calculating, then ibe ngu-9,89, so sibe no-9 here, 89 meters per second. The question say calculate the what? The speed. So the speed has no direction, so there is no need to specify the direction. So sibe sigqibile ke ngoku lena equation. Siyayazi velocity at p. The velocity here is 9,89 meters per second. The velocity here, once speed here, 9,89. Sibe sigqibile ke ngoku speed. That is the first question sigqibile. So to use energy principle, calculate the speed. Kwanto energy you can use here, kwa formula energy you can use, but thina sithe ku-incline we use the work done by non-conservative forces sizijonge, but sifumanise uba asinazo, then we put ubani u-0, safaka u-0 phaa, then saqhuba. Sibe sigqibile question yokuqala. Then say question yesibini. Question yesibini ithi ke ngoku apha, explain why the kinetic energy at P is the same as kinetic energy at Q. Let's look at a free body diagram. A free body diagram in a normal force and a work engubani engu-0. Ibe no FG here, u-FG wethu here une work engubani engu-0, ingabikho enye into, meaning that here the net work there is equal to 0. The net work done, net work done is equal to 0 joules, because normal force wenza 0 work, u-FG wenza 0 work, therefore kushiye ku-0 ungabikho nto, the net work done yenza bani 0 work. So xa i-net work done isenza 0 work, iformula ibisithi work net ekuqaleni ibisithi work net is equal to change in what? In EK. Change in EK ngubani? U-EK final minus EK initial. So that is network. Kwathiwa i-network sathi ke ngoku-network yethu phaa eyaphuma ingu-0 because akho kwanto yenza iwork phaa, so sino-0 which is equal to EK final minus EK initial. Now if we can transpose one of two, we will have EK, for example, initial is equal to EK final. So xa uthatha le uyizisa ngapha itshintshe sign ifike ibe positive, so the EK initial is equal to EK final. This is the initial position kule path horizontal, this is the final position kule path esikuyo. So ithethe ukuthi ke ngoku i-kinetic energy yala iyalingana ne-kinetic energy yalapha, as you can see, that is final nabani no-initial bayalingana. Xa belingana ithetha ukuthini loo nto? Ithi question in fact, explain why the kinetic energy at P is the same as at Q. The reason is that the net work done is equal to 0, but ndibonisa nje uba ivela kanjani, nazi ziyalingana, zilingana only if the net work done is equal to 0. Therefore the velocity here, since the kinetic energy fana, the velocity here is 9,89. The velocity here, that is V here, is 9,89. Then they say it comes to stop. So here the velocity comes to stop, the object comes to stop, the velocity is equal to 0 here. Then sibe sigqibile ke ngoku data yethu entsha for the new path. So let's remove this one and also this one because space yethu sincinci. Ithini question elandelayo, the last question. The last question says, explain the term conservative force. So explain again a conservative force as a force that do work on an object depending on the path taken. It does work on an object depending on the path taken. That is non-conservative force. But the question ebesize kuyo kakhulu ngu 2.4. Calculate angle theta. Naku theta. Okay. So we have that triangle. Let me draw it here so that it be clean. Sinala triangle upper sino theta. Upper sinabani sino 3 meters. Which means we need lendawo. Lendawo leya ngu delta x wethu. So we are going to use sine theta, which is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So we need hypotenuse side, that is delta x, ukuze sibale theta. Therefore, let's focus on delta x, okay? Oh, this is what? An inclined plane. And free body diagram yethu yapha ino FG. Free body diagram yethu ino FG, which is going down. Ino friction, which is opposing the motion. Then ino normal force. Now then normal force is emhlabe because it does no work. Now, since kungu incline, we are going to use the same formula. Go incline. Le path yokuqala incline. Work done by non-conservative force. Eyesibini angu incline. Work net esomsebenzisa le. Kwesithathu incline. Work done by non-conservative forces. Now sishiyeke neziphi forces apha xa suse normal force no friction no FG. FG conservative force. Bese ndishilo FG is a conservative force. Sishiyeke nabani ngoku ne friction kuphela. Therefore friction is a non-conservative force. So but I work done by non-conservative force, a work done by friction. EK final minus EK initial plus EP final minus EP initial. So i-work besitheni xa siyibala i-work sithe is a force, i-force yethu ngu-FK times delta x, good, wavela delta x cos theta xa sibala le nto i-work. Now let's substitute. Okay, in fact kweli cala kwenzeka ntoni? Le object le at P initial wethu, at Q I mean, then pha phezulu ku-R ku-final wethu. So final wethu ngu-0, therefore the kinetic energy here is 0. Then sidile ngale 1 over 2 mv f square plus EP final minus okay. So if singajonga ke ngoku sino EP initial, u-EP initial kuleni path na ku-initial wethu kuleni path ngu-Q, kubani height yam ngu-0, therefore since i-height ngu-0, EP ngu-0 ezantsi, EP ezantsi ngu-0. Okay, so substitute i-frictional force besiyinikiwe nantsi i-frictional force yale path 18, so substitute sino 18. U-delta x asinayo, icacile ngulo simfunayo i-delta x cos. U-theta ka-friction always 180 degrees. Sino minus u-0 umkile 1 over 2. I-mass ngubani? U-5, sengula 5. I-velocity, this is supposed to be initial, this one is supposed to be initial velocity because EK initial. So i-velocity initial ngubani? Ku-9,89 square plus This one is mgh, that is mgh. So u-EP ke ngoku EP wethu abe okay, that is u-EP, sorry for that. U-EP wethu, let me remove this one. U-EP wethu finally sijonga yena ngoku mgh, so I can remove this one, then let me substitute EP final. Okay, EP final. So EP final wethu ke ngoku abe M, that is 5 mass, G 9,8, then height yakhona ke ngunantsi height yapha 3, so ibe 3. Now let's press calculator. So betha calculator kweli cala. So kweli cala, sorry for that, kweli cala sibethe calculator is minus 18 delta x, which is equal to, then sibethe calculator kweli cala. I-answer ngoku ibe negative 97,53. Then dividing on negative 18, both sides negative 18. Now we class divided on negative 18. Cancel that one, cancel that. Then delta x is equal to, of a calculator, delta x is equal to, delta x and 4. Oh, it's 5, not 4. It's 5,42. That is delta x with meters. But question bebuze utheta. Question bebuze bani utheta. Since sinayo delta x or hypotenuse, sinalo licala ngolingu 5,42. So we can use sine because lay opposite lay hypotenuse. So sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So sine theta is equal to opposite side ngu 3, hypotenuse yethu ngu 5,42. Therefore theta is equal to the inverse, sine inverse of 3 over 5,42. Then utheta ngosibe simgqibile ke ngoku theta wethu sicofa calculator yethu, sine inverse of 3 over 5,42 is 33. And the answer is 33,61 degrees. Sibe siyiphendula question. So sibambe lapha. Ku-incline, you draw a free body diagram, you use work done by non-conservative forces. Then ku-horizontal, work net is equal to change in EK. Then vertical, ku-incline again, we incline work done by non-conservative forces. I-unknown izosivelela qha question. So ungabuza umbuzo uze ne-question yakho, then I will calculate low question, then a video based on i-question yakho. But don't forget that, let's try this one Tina. Ku-incline, we use work done by non-conservative force. Horizontal, work net. Ku-incline, work done by non-conservative forces. Number 2 is steps. We have steps. Step number 1, you draw the free body diagram. Step number 2, you cancel normal force. Step number 3, you check which one is non-conservative force. Bazikho, you put 0, but in this case besine friction. So ihamba kanjalo. Thank you.